Hello. The Divine Code reading for September 6th. The chapter Forbidden Statues, Images, and Pillars. Pages 181 and 182. Topic number 1. It is forbidden to make a statue or an image of an idol that is worshipped for oneself. This refers to a 2- or 3-dimensional solid representation of something that is known and recognized to be served as an idol by any of the types of idolatry that are currently practiced in the world. That is, making something which the followers of some idolatry would bow down to or serve with their rituals. If one uses a non-permanent optical image, such as a digital, video, hologram, etc., to visualize this idol, and worships or serves before it, the equipment used to produce the image is an accessory for idol worship. So it would not be the same if a person was, had an image of an idol on their computer, worshipped it. It wouldn't make the computer necessarily the idol, but it would make the computer an accessory. But the major part what's saying here is that the 2- or 3-dimensional solid representation is what's being spoken of here as being forbidden. Whether one makes it for himself or tells others to make it for him, even if he does not intend to serve it. As it says, that's in Exodus 20, verse 4. It appears clear that this prohibition applies as well as to Gentiles, since the Talmud and Tractate Sanhedrin 56b cites a debate as to whether the prohibition of idol worship for Gentiles applies only to serving idols or also making idols. Even the final ruling follows the opinion that one is liable for a capital sin only from the time he begins to serve the idol, but not from the time of making it. This does not necessarily argue that it is permitted to make a statue of an idol, and it is logical that both sides of the debate in the Talmud hold that it is forbidden to make an idolatrous image. So there's a argument in the Talmud about whether or not Gentiles, if the idolatrous image is considered idolatry at the time that the Gentile makes it or at the time it's served. Now we don't know for sure, but it's according to it, but it's clear in either case that it's forbidden to make an idol. It seems logical. This seems logical, since we rule that a Jew is forbidden to derive benefit from an idol of a Gentile as soon as he makes it. But a Jew may derive benefit from an idol that is made by a Jew until it is served, as discussed in chapter 7, in a couple of chapters forward. It is therefore logical to say that a Gentile is permitted to make an idol, yet this permitted idol is forbidden for use. It would be illogical to say that the Gentile is permitted to make an idol, yet the idol is forbidden for use, while a Jew's idol, which is forbidden for him to make, is permitted to derive benefit from, and only forbidden to derive benefit from once it is served. Okay, it's permitted to derive benefit from the Jew's idol until it's served. So in the Jewish case, if a Jew makes an idol, it's permitted to make use of the idol until it is served as an idol. So they could derive benefit. They could sell it or something. They're permitted to do that. But it's still not permitted to make the idol, for the Jew to make the idol. In the Gentiles case, it's forbidden even to make benefits, forbidden to even sell the idol, to do any benefit from the idol, even before it's been served. Therefore, in the Gentiles case, it's a stricter case. So for a Jew, it's forbidden to make the idol. It's forbidden to make the idol. Then clearly, it's forbidden for the Gentile to make the idol, because the Gentiles is more stricter concerning this. The opinion of Rambam, Laws of Kings 9:2, is clear. It is forbidden for Gentiles to make an idol, even for decoration. See chapter 7 below. That's it. That's a couple chapters out. That the command to destroy idol worship and the prohibition against deriving benefit from it applies to Gentiles as well. It is explained in Sophonet Pania, quoted in footnote 190. That's most likely in chapter 7. That it is derived from the main prohibition of serving idols, since part of the idol worship is the making of physical statues and images and of idols, their service items, and all that pertains to them. Therefore, even though serving the idol is what makes a person is the capital offense, but all the items that are necessary for that service, making those items, making them for the purpose of the idol worship, would also be prohibited. Even if it's not a capital offense, it would still be prohibited to make the idol. So as it says in Exodus 20, verse 4, you shall not make for yourself a carved image, nor any likeness, or any image, etc. It is likewise forbidden to make statues or images of actual idols for others, as it says. Leviticus 9:4 and Sifrei there, quoted by Rashi. Do not turn to idols or molten gods you shall make for yourselves, meaning that others may not make them for you. That you shall not, do not turn to idols and molten gods you shall not make for yourselves, meaning that others may not make them for you. And likewise, you may not make them for others. That's explained in Rambam's The Laws of the Worship of Stars and Idols, 3:9, Sefer HaMitzvot, Negative Commandment 2 and 3. And this is derived using one of the methods of exegesis of the way that the words are parsed to derive this from this verse. Topic number 2. It is forbidden to buy a statue or image of an actual idol, even if one does not intend to serve it. For it is forbidden to own or to keep in one's property any type of idol, even if this particular person will not serve it at all. This is included in the cited prohibition, do not turn to idols, as explained above in chapter 2. Rashi on Exodus 20, chapter 20, verse 3, and Mechita there. According to Rambam, there is no specific prohibition to merely possess an idol, but an idol belonging to a Jew is only forbidden once he serves it. So it follows that if one Jew found or bought an idol that belonged to another Jew, he is not yet served, and it was not yet served. We do not find that the Torah prohibits him from owning it. So in the case of a Jew, it's not until the idol is served. It's not until the idol is under the classification as an idol that was served. So the Jew makes the idol, it's not automatically in the classification. And if a Jew buys it from another Jew, it's still not underneath that classification until it's actually worshipped as an idol. Then it changes its status. In contrast, a Gentile's idol that he made is immediately forbidden to derive benefit from. So it must be destroyed or nullified, as will be explained in a future chapter. Therefore, it is obviously forbidden for any Gentile to possess an actual idol. But see in topic 7.4, that's in that future topic on nullification of idols, which explains that there is a possibility for a Gentile to be permitted to own an idol if it was made by a Jew and it was never worshipped. So if it was made, the question is, how does a statue gain the status, acquire the status of a statue that was as an idol that was worshipped as an idol, thus making it forbidden for use, making it forbidden. In the case of a statue made by a Gentile, it's automatically in that classification. Just the nature of how it works. If it's made by a Jew, it's not automatically in the classification until it is actually served. And if it's made by a Gentile, it starts out from the onset, from its making, that it was in the category of an idol that was served. There's a possibility, although it's a bit of a stretch, there's a possibility that if it was made by a Jew and became owned by a non-Jew, that it might be still in the classification of a statue that had not been served. Ramban in Hasagat, his notes and reservations on Rambam's Sefer HaMitzvah for negative commandment 5 connects this prohibition to a different verse. But he concludes that in any case it is forbidden because of the Torah's prohibition, do not turn to idols. So in the case of the Ramban's explanation, he finds a different way of understanding the Bible verses, but there's another verse that says, do not turn to the idols, which would also make it the idol prohibited for a Gentile to make. The idol is prohibited from the point of being made by the Gentile. Or even possessed by the Gentile. That's the major question at this point, whether or not it can be possessed by the Gentile. So the Ramban is saying it wouldn't be. Topic number 3. It is also forbidden to make certain types of statues for decoration, even if there is no intent that it will be served, and even if they do not depict actual idols. As it says in Exodus chapter 20, verse 20, you shall not make with me gods of silver and gold. This means that certain statues that are forbidden to be made for decoration. There are certain statues which are forbidden to be made for decoration, since erring people might mistake them for idols and may come to serve them. So there's certain types of statues that are prone to idol worship. They kind of tug a person along the ways of idol worship. And those statues, even if they're not designed for the purpose of idol worship, because they have that draw within them that draws a person towards it, it's therefore forbidden to make those kinds of statues. And this will be explained more in tomorrow's reading. Thank you.